Hey, what's up, guys? We are right outside of Monroe, Georgia here, kind of close to Walnut Grove area. We're just wrapping up an inspection here on this probably 65 square architectural roof. It's about 25 years old here, probably the original roof to this home. As you can see, we've got some whirlybirds here that are in action. These things actually ventilate okay, but still not going to be nearly as good as putting in a new ridge vent on this thing here. So we'll put a new ridge vents on all these, and that's going to be a good bit of ventilation for this roof. And it's going to ventilate it a lot better. You know, if we didn't have very much ridge up here, then to put ridge vent on, then we may have to actually put some power attic vents on this thing to get the hot air out. But in this case, I think we're pretty solid, especially since we can do vents over that side and over here and over there. Well, we should be pretty good on this one, but I just want to show you guys around a few things that we're seeing here. On the front of this roof here, you can see we've got a lot of algae. See how dark it is back here compared to the back? Big difference. That's algae growth all on this front side. So this is our north facing side. And we got some wind damage on the front here. All right, a lot of these keys right here were loose, and most of the time they're not loose. Most of the time they're stuck down, but we see a lot of times on these old architecturals, they become loose over time maybe, and they'll have that crease across the top right there, and that's still wind damage there. But I want to show you guys a few other things. You can see there's some lichen, or that's what they call it. These white spots, it's kind of like a mold or an algae or something. So that's also growing up here. But overall, I mean, this roof is just in rough shape. It needs to be updated pretty badly. Let me show you guys some more wind damage. That's really the main thing I want to show you guys in this video today is the wind damage. So as you can see here, I've got a bigger line going across from shingle to shingle here. Not the full 3 foot, but about 2 foot line there, just to show me that full shingle has wind damage here, compared to a shorter line where it's just the key. So this one's just the key. Wind gets underneath there and flaps that really fast and causes that crease at the top. And then on this one, the wind got underneath the entire shingle, not just the keys, and lifted the whole thing up and caused a crease all the way kind of across. You can mostly see it on the keys right here, not so much in between the keys. But you guys know architectural shingle is 2 shingles put together in the common bond area, and where their common bond is kind of right underneath here at that spot where you nail it at. Those nails are covered by the next shingle that overlaps, but this is the base shingle. That's kind of your top shingle right there. That shingle goes up into here, and this base is only about that wide or so. The base is very, very thin, and that you can see them delaminate. If they're not nailed in the right spot, you'll see this bottom piece actually starting to slide out. And they are actually doing that on this one a little bit. We actually have a little delamination on this one, but this, like I said, the wind got underneath this entire shingle on this one and lifted the whole thing up and caused a longer crease across the top. And then most of what we're finding though is these little keys that have damage. Again, a key that has damage there, wind got underneath it. We are finding some hail on this roof too. Parker actually marked some of that up here. It is really slick up here too, guys. I mean, these old architecturals or old shingles in general, they get really slick, and you really need a Ridge Pro to walk around and be safe on here. But you know, got some big dents there from hail. So we're actually going to file this claim for wind and hail. We actually have a hail date that's within the last year that produced about 1 inch or so hail. State Farm's just not buying hail right now, so that might be a tough battle. So that's why we're going to file this thing for wind and hail, so we can kind of go either way on this one. If you ever have questions about that, just make sure you ask your manager about what's the best storm date to use. But usually we're working with public adjusters too, and they can help us out with that a lot. Again, we've got some tabs with some creases right across the top there where that wind's got underneath it. And we got a full shingle right here, longer line where the wind got underneath the entire shingle and lifted it up, you know, and caused that crease across the top there. But you know, in a case like this for State Farm, you really need some damage on just about every side. Most of the wind came from that direction, and there's the west and the south here. And so that's why you see majority of the damage is on this left-hand side of the roof and on the back. All right, and so you got some over there on that side on the back right here, And on these sides right here, like again, those left-hand sides, there's a little bit on the front, but majority of it's on the back and left-hand sides, which makes sense, you know. But we at least need, with most insurance companies, at least need at least one or two on the other slopes, you know, like this right-hand side or the front. We need at least a few in order to be able to push for repairability with an old shingle like this, you know. And this old shingle definitely would not pass a repairability test, and so that's going to be some ammo for us to use to make sure that this roof gets approved. But lots of issues up here. Somebody had, I guess, slid a shingle in right there to keep it from leaking. Lots of issues with broken pieces and satellite dish all the way on the edge of the roof. We always advise not to put satellites on the roof. That's just a leak waiting to happen there. The plumbing boots over there are pretty rotted out around the top where it meets the white pipe. Lots of nails are not sealed up here. You can see all these nails around these pipes here that just aren't sealed up like they should be. We've got lots of those. Lots of holes in the roof. When they were working on it before, you know, back in the day, they would put 2x4s across the roof in order to walk and work on the roof, and they would just come back and lift that little key up right here, and they would put silicone underneath it and kind of smash it through right there to where it wouldn't leak, you know. But you know, that's a leak waiting to happen. So we got a bunch of those. That's what that is. That's what that one is right there, you know. But that's exactly what happened. A lot of these keys are becoming loose, and that wind will lift it. You can see there's no crease there now, but that wind will lift it up, all right, and then it'll cause a crease right across the top right there, just like that. And that's what we're seeing out here. So yeah, good bit of damage here on the front. Parker's here marking up the damage, putting the amounts here. We got lines on every one of them. Long lines for full shingles, short lines for keys only. Full inspection all the way around, marking everything that we've got here. That way we got a full scope. We can go down and tell the homeowner whether or not we feel like they're going to get approved with their insurance company. So he's got right wind equals, looks like 14 on this side, or on all the right. So you count up all the lefts. This is the left side actually. So you count up all the damage on all the left. So that's a left, that's a left, that's a left, that's a left, that's a left. And over there's the left-hand side. So you count all the damage on all the lefts and you put it just in one spot. Doesn't matter which side you put it. You just got to put a total somewhere on one of those sides. Same thing with the back. You can count up that back over there, this back, that's a back over there. And we could even consider that all a back really. But I like to consider that a left and a right, if you really want to be factual about it. And then put our total up here at the top of everything we had on the back. Same thing on all four sides, you know. But again, most insurance companies are going to require damage on all four sides in order to do a full roof replacement, or they're going to really make you work for it. You're going to have to push code and manufacturer specifications, and it's a battle that we fight all the time. But you know, it's just something we have to do. You know, if there is damage on all four sides, those usually get approved the first go round. So we love those. And it makes our life a lot easier, saves us a lot of time. So trying to think if there's anything else I want to show you guys up here. I think we're pretty good. Little flat cricket right up the spot right there. A lot of water goes there. So we're going to want to put a lot of ice and water shield before we lay shingles down. Make sure that's never going to ever leak. Obviously, ice and water shield go in all the valleys right here where all the water comes to. We're gonna ice and water shield all around that chimney to make sure that that's never gonna leak. We're gonna get rid of all these vents, put plywood in to cover in the holes, shingle over it like it was never there, install a new ridge vent system here. That's gonna be tricky to do the ridge vent right there with that little bump up. That's a bad framing design right there. Whoever did that, that should be avoided. Always should be avoided right there. It makes it really tough to do ridge vents and just makes it look kind of weird. All right, guys, I think that's all we got here. Again, a lot of loose ones on here. Most of the time with these newer architecturals, they're pretty stuck down, so that's wind's just not going to be a thing most of the time. But again, on these old architectural shingles, you know, wind can definitely get a roof approved, so just be mindful of that. That's the main purpose of this video. Thank you, guys.